Whoa, I think I might have curated a really awesome vibe. Alright, sick. Well, hello. Welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kamri, and this is my podcast called You Will Be Fine. I really have wanted to make more episodes, but I am a girl living in the real world and I have a full-time job. So, sorry about the little hiatus from the podcast, but I really just love, like, every time I come back to make a podcast episode, I'm just like, this is so much fun. And it reminds me of like why I started making the podcast. And it was kind of just to help other 20 somethings like maneuver this weird ass chapter of our lives. And like I'm 25, so I'm just figuring this out like as I go. I just want to provide like the best advice that I can, I guess, with what I've learned in life. So, with that being said, let's get into it because, girl, I've had enough. Let's get into it. Let's start out. Let's dive into this and talk about all of the crazy shit that's been happening. Okay, so basically, let's all lie to each other and keep lying and monetize it and make a career off of lying. Because that's what everybody was doing on TikTok, right? That's what everybody just did on TikTok. And then it came back and everybody was like, oh, just kidding. So basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about for some reason, but TikTok was banned in the US for 12 hours, maybe 13 hours. And then it came right back. And this is just honestly funny at this point, you guys. This is like really funny. Are we serious? Like, the farther I get into life and seeing the evolution of social media, the more I just cannot believe how many people get away with just being like fake, fabricated versions of themselves, and people buy it and support it and love it. What I'm talking about specifically is when TikTok was banned, there was this fun little trend going around where people were like exposing themselves and ruining their whole careers because they thought that the app was like leaving, which doesn't really make sense to me because like, why are TikTokers acting like TikTok is the only social media app? There's Instagram, there's YouTube, Spotify. Like, come on, bro. So, I don't know. But basically, sorry if you hear any noise outside. This is New York City, so. But basically, a bunch of people have been just exposing themselves online, and it's just so funny to me because, like, why are we doing this, you guys? Like, all right, so there's the first one that was the kicker for me was Nikki from Nikki and Gabby, Nikki DiMartino. Her and her sister were, like, millennial, like, YouTube vlog girlies in, like, 2013, 2014, like, the high saturation period of, like, YouTube with, like, what's her name? Ava, My Life is Ava, and Tila Dunn, like, that era. They were part of that, and not gonna lie, I definitely did grow up watching quite a bit of them. And they would always have these, like, extravagant, like, oh, like, Christmas hauls or whatever, and it would come out, like, the second Christmas happened, like, right on Christmas morning, they would have already dropped a video. And I was like, that's, like, crazy how they were able to, like, always be on top of it. Turns out that thanks to this TikTok trend that's happening where people are exposing themselves, Nikki exposed that most of their channel was a lie for whatever reason, just to like lie to a bunch of kids, I guess. No, I get the reason, but it's just kind of still stupid. Basically, there's this trend that was going on under this like Family Guy audio that was like, now that we're gonna die, there's one thing I have to tell you. And like a bunch of people that were like influencers were going on there like exposing their secrets and themselves and like tattling on themselves basically. And Nikki was like, oh yeah, all of our like hauls were filmed beforehand. Like we bought ourselves these presents. Like it wasn't just like a random like Christmas morning thing. We filmed these in advance so that we could be the first ones to post, which from a marketing perspective, at my big age now and with a degree in marketing, I'm like, all right, okay, they were really on top of that algorithm. Like, they really did what they needed to do to stay in the light, I guess. But to my like younger self who watched that in my developing years, literally, because what? Literally just F you, bro. Why? I don't know. So Nikki and Gabby are like a thing for me where I don't even know how I feel about them. I'm like indifferent. Like, they've done so many things that I just like don't even know. Like, I don't know. But I would not say I was a fan of them. But back in the day, I definitely did watch them a lot. But in my adult years, I'm just like, why would you do that to me? Why would you do that to me and a bunch of girls, young, impressionable girls who are like developing their personalities based on you guys? Because they were like the first round of YouTubers. And I just watched like a video recently. Nicole Raffi, she does like commentary videos and stuff like that. But she was talking about how up it was that they like basically did that because we were like young girls, like learning how to girl through them, and it was all fake and it was all lies, and we didn't know any better. We didn't know that they were like exaggerating it for monetization. How would we know that? Let's stop giving people platforms who don't give a shit about you, and let's also stop obsessing with people that don't even know that you exist. While I'm on this topic, want to talk about like people really, like, I feel like this phrase is starting to get like overused, but touch grass for real, because I saw people like acting like there was a death of a close person to them when TikTok was shut down. Or like I've seen people just be like, how am I gonna like live without this? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, trying to think of like other ways to occupy themselves in their like day to day. Dude, I deleted the app like the day that it was banned. Like, literally, the notification popped up, and I was like, all right, delete. And then it came back, and now I don't have access to it, but I really don't care because it's an app. Like, I feel like we have lost the plot. We've really lost the plot here, guys, because we can't be this worked up about an app. I don't know. But let me go to my guide, because I haven't even been following my guide of what I wanted to talk about. I just kind of got right into it. It's just like it's a whole bunch of stuff that I just like makes me sit there and think like, are we okay? Like, are we actually all right? It feels like we're just getting further and further away from humanity every day, and it is very scary. Okay, so I did want to... That's always fun. But aside from the TikTok ban, I just can't believe like how online the whole world is at this point. Like I said, I'm 25. I was born in 99. So like social media kind of took off like as I was growing up. But like my siblings are like 10 years younger than me, 12 years younger than me. And like I don't think they've known anything. Like, they've literally only ever known like social media, the internet, and all that type of thing. They're not even really big like social media users, but like I feel like the kid influencer population is just like growing, and that's just like real scary. But that's another topic for another day. Oh my... Are we done? Please, can we be done? Wait, I literally feel like we're hanging out. Like, I feel like you guys are over and it's a sleepover right now, and we're like chatting. We're like having a little gossip sesh about what's going on in today's world. Back to pop culture and being online all the time. Have you guys seen the Blake Lively drama that's been going on? I guess this is just our little pop culture update, but the Blake Lively stuff that's going on, I kind of don't F with her anymore. Brief history, if you don't know, Blake Lively pressed charges against Justin Baldoni, who is her co-star in It Ends With Us. He's like the main guy. She accused him of like sexual assault and all of this crazy stuff, and he came back and like countersued her and also showed evidence that like the allegations she made like weren't true, because she said that he had talked to her inappropriately and said like she smelled good during like an intimate scene. And I'm always one to believe somebody if they say like something has happened. Obviously, like I have my own experiences, so I'm never one to be like, oh, they're lying. But I was pretty unbiased until I saw like this article that literally showed that she was lying, because footage of that actual incident like resurfaced, and his mic, Justin Baldoni's mic, was on, and what actually was said was, he was like, oh, I think I'm getting my beard all over you, because it was like a kissing scene, and she's like, oh, that's okay, I'm probably getting my spray tan on you, and he was like, oh, it smells good, and she's like, thanks, and she's like, well, it's actually my body makeup or whatever. And that was the whole thing. I'm sick of her and Ryan Reynolds. Never cared for Ryan Reynolds. I actually did like him in the movie Free Guy, but that's it. Like, she came in and just took over the whole project too. Like, that was also something that Justin Baldoni was saying in his like lawsuit towards her, that like she came in and tried to ambush like the whole entire production. Anyway, I'm sick of talking about her. Oh, do you guys see this right here? I got a new record player for Christmas. Also, this. Shout out my mother. She really blessed me for... She did not even need to, but yeah. So, record player, really awesome. So, I got this Grateful Dead album. It's American Beauty. The reason that I shared this with you is because I recently visited memory lane. Picture this. I'm scrolling on Hulu. What am I going to watch? Seen everything, watched everything a million times. I find that Freaks and Geeks is about to be taken off of Hulu. If you know Freaks and Geeks, you're awesome. And if you don't, it was a show that came out in 1999, birth year. But it was based in like late 80s or something. And James Franco's in it, Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Linda I never remember her name. Linda Cardellini, something like that. She was Velma in the Scooby-Doo movie, the live action one. But she's also in a bunch of other stuff, and she was awesome in this show. Basically, they're all teenagers, like growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, whatever. It took me back to when I was like 15, because me and my cousin used to, like, we discovered that show when we were literally like 15, and we were like, what the f***? This is awesome. And I've always been like very infatuated with like 90s culture and like love that show. So I rewatched it. It's gone now. So I wanted to rewatch it, and I was just like, holy shit, this just like brings me back. And I love older movies too and all of that. So I was watching an episode of Freaks and Geeks, the last one, and Lindsay, main character, throughout the whole show, she's kind of like not really sure like where she fits in or like who she wants to be. And then she listens to the Grateful Dead American Beauty album. She finds herself. Like, there's just a scene of her like dancing around her room while the record's playing, this very record, and she's just like dancing around her room, and then she's also like just sitting on her bed like feeling the music and like really just connecting to it. And I legit did that last night. I laid on my floor, and I was just like, I was also walking around like, and it was just awesome. And I just feel like so connected to my younger self. And I got that specific record, and I was like, geez, such a full circle moment. Sometimes like I feel like I have those like a lot, and they're really special to me when I feel like I just like hugged my teenage self. Anyway, let me wrap up this segment. Aside from pop culture, I feel like I always want to try to stress like connecting to your inner child, because I feel like as long as we can do that, like life can still be fun. Like if you're connected to your childhood self, like in the things that made you happy when you were younger and make you feel like, give you that childlike wonder, what's wrong with that? We all deserve a little break from the seriousness and the stresses of being an adult, and especially in this world, like right now, like the inauguration just happened. That's all I'm gonna say. I just want to get back to less serious activities. Like the other day, a bunch of my friends were over, and we were all just sitting in my bed coloring. That's so awesome. That's so sick. But anyway, back to the pressures of society and the economy and how to stay like afloat. I think for me at least, what's helped me to block out like the noise of outside and like all the stuff that's going on is to just focus on like improving myself in working on my little bubble, like staying in my little bubble and working on building it, basically. I wouldn't say that works for everybody, but I've found that it works for me when I start to feel like, okay, this world is really going downhill. I'm really scared about the future. I don't know what's happening, like what's going to happen with the economy and everything. So what I do to like get rid of that madness is kind of just lock in with myself. And what I've been doing is trying to be consistent with like healthy routines and healthy habits. And yeah, new year, new me or whatever, but I'm trying to like actually like be this person and trying to actually like have this just be like my all the time self. I've been trying to be more self-disciplined, whether it's even just like going to bed earlier or like working out in the morning. Being self-disciplined has helped me like feel like I'm working towards a goal. Like I feel like I'm actually improving in ways by being self-disciplined and me disciplining myself, making myself get up at 6 every morning. When I first did it, that shit was so hard, could not get out of bed. Now I do it, and sometimes I'm up before like my alarm will go off. Not usually, but sometimes. It also comes around to like being better for yourself and not for other people or other validation. Like nobody can take away from you your personal self-improvement. Nobody can take that from you. So I feel like there's so much power in building that in yourself, because people can screw you over, people can make you feel like shit, people can treat you like a worn out shoe, but they don't know that you can't lose. That's a song, a jazz song. But anyway, basically, yeah, it's true, because if you are good with yourself, like I've said this before, nobody can really like shake you. This is also why I kind of think back into TikTok, I think it's kind of good that that shit was banned. At least for me, I'm like glad that I deleted it and can't access it again, because I was definitely using it like way too much and developing toxic like habits within myself and starting to have like a poor mental state. So I really definitely feel like for people like me or a lot of people, it's probably a good thing that TikTok is like gone, or at least like it's back now, but it's tarnished. I feel like it kind of forced me to limit my access to media. And that's another like huge topic that I wanted to discuss, is like we need to have self-control of what we are allowing ourselves to access, because this stuff can like sit in your brain. You know, we're absorbing all of these things. Like, for example, I really like true crime, right? Like I very much like get very interested in true crime stories, cases, all that stuff. I enjoy the mystery of it, but it makes me really sad and it makes me really upset, and I can't stop thinking about the victims for like days to come. It just makes me really sad, and then I start to have nightmares. So I have to limit myself, and I have to know like, okay, you can't watch all of this in a week. Like you're gonna have nightmares and you're gonna feel shitty. Even if I want to, even if I'm like, oh, this case sounds like really interesting, like I wonder what happened or like why, I just won't, because I'm like, that's not gonna benefit you, dude. Like you're gonna regret that a lot. Let's be smart and nice to ourselves. So yeah, I just feel like limiting your access to things is like really good, especially in times like this where it feels like every time we open our phones, something like horrific has happened or like taken place. And that was a big thing with TikTok for me. Every time I would open it, and I think it's probably my fault for my algorithm, but it would be like some like crazy, wild, like sad news that's happening or some shit that would just make me like really upset. And I'm like one of those people that have a hard time like being like overly empathetic or like putting myself, I don't know, if something bad happens to somebody else, I will like literally internalize it and think about it like all the time. So it's just really hard for me to see like bad news and shit happen, like, but I also like to be alert and aware of what's going on. So it's just a matter of like knowing what you can handle and how much you can handle. You know what I mean? There's some things you don't have to watch. Maybe it's not the best to be on hour 6 of TikTok or Instagram Reels now that TikTok is like diminishing. Like especially in New York City, like it was really hard for me a little bit there for the past couple of weeks. Like full transparency, like I get into like, you know, burnt out mental states or like just having my own shit happen with life, and life gets in the way, and I choose to like take a break until I'm ready mentally to come back and have good content provided rather than come on here when I'm not in a good mindset. That being said, that's why we need to band together. Like, if you're feeling paranoid or swallowed up by the world and what's going on, and you feel like you're even scared, maybe connect with your people. Like, be with the people that make you happy. Discuss this with people who you feel you can trust or that may also be feeling this way. Like, check on your friends. Like, make sure that you guys are all good, really. And, like, just do what's gonna put your own mind at ease. Like, this is why I just think it's important to, like, have people you can go to, because life can be really, really, really scary. So, yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. That was heavy. That was a lot. I know. But I don't want to be just talking about things that stress us out, because there's also things that are really great with life, you know? And we just got to remind each other that we'll be okay. We got to remind each other that life is crazy right now, yeah, but we're still good. We're still breathing. We still woke up today. As long as that happens, we're good. Like, if you woke up today, you're already more blessed than a lot of other people, and we just got to make sure our perspective's all right, babe. And I also read something that was like, somebody in a hospital bed is wishing that they could have the opportunities that you have right now. And that is so true, because, like, I've been that person in the hospital bed. Spent a lot of my life in the hospital as a kid. I have, like, a genetic thing that runs in my family, and I've had, like, multiple surgeries. And I know what it's like to be jealous of people who can just get up and out of bed and go to work or go to school. So being on the other end of it, it's kind of like, I will be damned if I let outside influences keep me from being the person I want to be with the second chance that I have, basically. Sorry to be ominous with that. I kind of want to talk about, like, my situation, but I've been wanting to wait till I had, like, a proper opportunity to. But I've had medical issues in my family. I have this disorder that runs in my family called dystonia. It is a very rare, just cracked my knuckle to the gods. Oh my God. It's a rare condition that only affects a really small amount of people. Luckily, I'm one of them. My family carries the gene. It's a neurological movement disorder where you can't really, like, control your body. It's kind of like gets really bad to the point where you can't, like, control anything that you do, like you're walking. And I had surgery to, you know, handle that. I've had brain surgery before. I've had, like, surgery on my chest. Like, I have scars on my chest, and I just feel like you can't see what you have until you're removed from it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so just think about the perspectives of other people, because there's a lot of people that wish that they were in the position that you are in. And what are you going to do with the opportunity that you were given? What are you going to do? You've only got one life. And if you're lucky enough, like I was, to get a second chance, use that. Or even if you're in one of those mindsets where you feel like everything is terrible, you still can get out of it, and you still can have another chance to have a different view on life. The mental is a powerful thing. I just really randomly kind of went into my background, my medical background, but I've been kind of wanting to touch on that because I feel like it gives me a sense of credibility to talk about the things I talk about, and, like, positivity and staying positive and staying motivated in life. And I feel like by me sharing that, it kind of shows where my credibility comes from, because I've been at the bottom mentally and physically. So I know that shit is better now. Even if it's tough, nothing can be that bad. So yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to touch on it. And I hope that maybe in future episodes I'll talk about it, like, more, or maybe I'll make a whole episode about it. I don't know. But that's kind of my perspective and where my mindset comes into play with this stuff. I guess I just want to remind everybody that in times like this where it's so serious and everything seems so crippling, you can take a break from social media. You don't have to be like right there. You don't have to read everything. You don't have to view everything. You don't have to see everything. Unless it's like, in face of injustice, then don't be ignorant to that. Like, definitely keep yourself aware of the news and what's happening in the world. But in terms of like influencers and keeping up on that type of shit, limit your access, bro. Limit your access. I just want you to know that it's okay to take a break. Maybe taking a break means sitting by yourself for a little bit, not talking to anybody. Or maybe it means going and hanging out with people, and whether it's being isolated and checking in with yourself or being social and getting out there and connecting with others, like, it's okay, whatever you need to do. And don't let anybody tell you what you should or should not do to make yourself feel better when living in times that are this crazy and this unpredictable and this anxiety provoking. I beg of you, do what's best for you. It is okay to feel really like not okay right now. And it is really okay to feel kind of nervous and scared and confused. Basically, you guys, I just want you to remember to take care of yourself. Don't forget to like laugh, do stupid shit if it makes you happy. Like, but yeah, basically just stick together with the ones you love and don't feel too consumed by the world and its craziness right now, please. In my closing statements, I just want you guys to remember that given everything that's happening around us or internally, remember the phrase, life is not suffering. Life is not suffering, meaning that your perspective on life doesn't have to be always focused around the negative. And that goes back into me saying how my perspective has changed. Life is not suffering because I don't choose to accept that narrative. I choose to accept the narrative that life is learning and life is growing. And the things that happen that make me feel like I'm suffering are for a bigger purpose. And I think that's honestly the best way that I can look at life for myself personally. And I would recommend y'all also try to get like a perspective that's optimistic and makes you feel comfortable and safe. It doesn't have to be suffering. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be all negative. We don't have to live in our negative feelings or bad mindsets, because we can get ourselves out of it. Like, we can, easier said than done, but we have the power to create the narrative, basically. With that being said, I just wish you guys a healthy, happy, and safe new year. I hope 2025 is better than 2024, and I hope that this is a pivotal year for y'all. And maybe start adapting some healthy habits. Like, for me, it's been working out, praying, or doing like yoga in the morning. I try to pray every morning or night. It just helps me feel connected and ready for the day. Because we deserve to live like a healthy and non-destructive life. We deserve to not be self-sabotaging, and we deserve to give ourselves the respect to have a healthy lifestyle and be functioning at our best. I love the phrase that's like, I'm too busy watering my own grass to notice if anyone else's is greener. I love that. Because it's like, I'm focused on me. I'm focused on improving myself. I don't care what you're doing. Hope all is good. But I'm going to work on me and my grass and making that green. And it's just awesome. I love it. And do little things for yourselves. That's what I want to leave you guys with. Some tips to kind of start to get towards those healthy habits, or just like improving your life in little teeny ways that I've noticed from my like regular girl perspective, is like doing small things, like having a candle or an air freshener. Like, I have this little like candle melter thing, like the wax melter. I put that on in the morning. I put the little wax pieces in there, and then when I come home, it smells delicious. It smells like vanilla and cozy vibe and cookies, and it's just awesome. And I also make my bed before I leave, like clean up my room and make sure that it's like a pretty and nice, clean environment for myself to come home to after being outside all day and being at work, and just knowing that whatever happens during the day, I have my safe, comfortable environment to come home to where I'm going to feel like I can be free and be happy and calm. So that, and also just like pamper yourself in these little ways. Like, we deserve to have some rest and some pampering ourselves. Also, give yourself grace to enjoy life and not just always trying to. It's about a balance, I think. For me, at least, I don't want to tell everybody how it is for you specifically, but finding a balance between like self-discipline and also living life and enjoying it has been center of my goals of what I'm trying to do, because that's like one of my biggest priorities, to be honest. But yeah, we deserve to have a great, wonderful life and treat ourselves great. We deserve to be pampered and feel amazing. So why not treat yourself the way that you deserve, with what you have, with the resources you have available. Treat yourself how you deserve. Because I feel like we all deserve better sometimes than we give ourselves, That being said, live the life you deserve, man. Be nice to the people around you, because we're all just trying to get through. We're all really just trying to get through at this point. And you never know what somebody else is going through, so just choose to be nice, man. Just choose to be kind. It's more effort to be mean, honestly. So just be kind. And with that, the song recommendation, I'm going to start doing song recommendations at the end of my episodes, but my song recommendation for this moment is That's Life by Frank Sinatra, because that's life. That's what all the people say. And before I close out, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate this episode 5 stars if you enjoyed it. It really helps me out. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, whatever you're at in your day, wherever you're at, if it just started, if you're going to bed, if you're just in the middle of it. Hope you're having a good one. Also, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Kamri Gabriella. Not TikTok, because I don't have it anymore. YouTube as well, Kamri Gabriella. And my podcast Instagram at You Will Be Fine Pod. Thank you guys so much. It means the world every time you guys listen to me. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you very soon. And yeah, just remember that you will be fine, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.